Today we're getting into baseplate designs. Like, subscribe if you just like love the sound of baseplate design. But it's a full example. I go through the code with you, all the nooks and crannies and the nuances of it, where to find all the equations, with a full in-depth design example, with all the numbers, with a final solution, all wrapped up into one. We have our lovely baseplate. It's 16 inches tall by 10 inches wide. Column axial load is given, 190 kips. This is an LRFD. You can choose to do ASD or LRFD, as we know in the steel manual, but for today, we're going to do it based on LRFD because the equations do change depending on the type of procedure and analysis that you do. The base plate itself is 36 KSI steel, column's 50 KSI. The column is a W14/53, as you can see, and then the compressive strength of the concrete mix is 4,000 PSI. Again, you're like, wait a minute, why do we even have concrete? What's going on here? I thought we're designing steel. Pump the brakes, don't worry about it. You will actually use that in an equation that's contained in the steel manual. Well, first we need a couple of dimensions from the steel manual for our W14/53 column. Namely, we need the depth and we also need the base width of the wide flange. Those, if you go to table 1-1 in the front, you get over to your W14/53, you will see D is 13.9 inches and it's 8 inches wide. And don't just take for granted thinking that, oh, well, Rich, this first number right here is the depth of your section. Not necessarily. There can be not necessarily a wide range, but there's a range of depths around 14 inches with that first number that your wide flange can be. So always check to make sure you have the exact depth of your member, depending on what member you have. Next, we've jumped over to the AISC steel manual. This is the 15th edition, as you can see, and we're gonna head to page 14-5. So see you over there. Correction, we're at page 14-4, and you will see column base plates for axial compression. That's exactly what we have here today. If you scroll down to the next page, here's your force transfer and here's all of your equations, a figure to go along with those equations. And then the next page, your final equation for your available strength to determine T-min. T-min being the thickness of the base plate for your design. And we're gonna start at the beginning here. So you need to solve 14.2, 3, 4, and 5 and get all of these variables. And if you scroll down here, like I said, all those variables correlate with this figure down here for your use to help you visualize what's going on, why you're solving these things. So let's go ahead and start solving. M is gonna equal N minus 0.5 D over 2. Come over here, that breaks down into the following, where your big N up above here is this variable right here. Okay, and that spits out 1.39 inches. So we're gonna hang on to that for now. We'll double underline it and let's move on. Little n is the following equation from the steel manual. Once we plug in our variables, that gets us the following. Capital B, going back up above here, that is 10. That gets us 1.8 inches. We'll need that for later as well, so hang on to that. Next, let's find n prime, little n prime. And I do wanna note for this one, the square root, I'll go in blue, is only on the denominator, the top one. The heck's the top one? The top portion of the fraction. It does not include this 4, that is separate. So you square the two terms on the top first and then you divide by 4. So don't mix that up there. We plug in our variables, that gets us an n prime equal to the following. Well, next, if we go back, let's take another look at the rest of the equations. We have this lambda to solve for, but lambda has this capital X value in it. We're like, well, where do we get that from? Now we move down to this table right here. We're doing LRFD today because our axial load was given in LRFD in the problem. And we have this beautiful equation right here to solve for capital X. We have everything in this equation besides one thing, this phi sub C, P sub P. What I've done for myself for time management is I've actually written in my steel manual that you can find P sub P on page 16.1-141. And I keep that there because every time I come back to this, I always think the same thing. I'm like, where do I go? That's where you go. There's your little reminder. That's a nice little tip trick for you. Just save some time. And this, of course, dumps us in chapter J, which has all those great little things associated with all these kind of components to steel design. And chapter J8, column base plates and bearing on concrete. Bingo, it's exactly what we need. And if you go through VVC is given 0.65, which actually correlates with the which actually correlates with the ACI. Moving forward here, the more important thing is your piece of P variable. And here are your two equations based on two conditions. A being that you have the full area of the base plate is supported on concrete. And then the other one is if you don't have that condition. If your base plate for some reason is not fully bearing on a concrete pad or some type of concrete element. And you'll notice that this looks eerily familiar, the A2, A1 type of stuff, that they mean slightly different things than in the concrete bearing equations in the ACI, but they get at kind of the same things. So piece of P, we know in our problem that we have full bearing. So we need this equation right here, which is 0.85 F prime C A1. A1 just being the area of your base plate. Right here, your variables are given, it's all defined very nice and neat. So let's take that back and go plug in. And there we are, piece of P, 353.6 kips. We will use this now in our X equation. That spits out 0.498. And this number will always be less than or equal to 1.0 because you have this variable here where it's taking into account your axial demand versus the capacity of your bearing condition for your concrete. And if that ever exceeds 1, then I guess you can continue designing the base plate, but you have another issue going on. Your failure case is now crushing of the concrete, at least the way that I understand it. So that's just an inefficient design that you have to go back and do other checks for. So this may be kind of a nice little red flag for you to check as you're moving through here to make sure that you're good here. If you're not, you may have, or you definitely have some other issues going on with your condition that you need to readdress. The AISC actually has that little paragraph just below this X equation that kind of gets into talking about that. So if you want to take a look at that, check it out. But that gives us capital X, which means now we can solve for lambda, which is the following equation as we had up above. So let's plug in everything for that. 0.635 also needs to be less than or equal to 1.0, which we are, so we are okay. And I might be starting to drift a little here, and you're saying, well, what are we actually doing with this lambda? Why are we finding these? I'm getting confused. Let's go back really quickly so I can show you the last procedure here. We're at the very end. Hey, you said we only need to find, these figures up here, but okay, now we have them all, but what are we missing? Why? Well, if we go to the end, for this T-min equation, which is your last equation to get you your answer, they have this L variable sitting right here. And then in this paragraph down below, L is the critical base plate cantilever dimension, and it's determined as the larger of M, N, and phi N prime. So those three conditions you need to find and compare to one another, take the largest value, and then plug it in for L in this top equation right here. I'm showing off just this equation again because we're doing LRFD today, but then you have the other equation for ASD right here. L is subsequently in that equation as well, so it's the same procedure. Lambda n prime equals 0.635 times 2.63 inches. That we solved up above here, boom, right here, which spits out 1.67 inches. Double underline that. So let's check it out. I'm gonna go green. I'm gonna box this, 1.67. We'll go back up. We have N as 1.8 and M as 1.39. We have to take the largest of the three. That's 1.8 inches. So that's what now N equals L. And we have our final equation. There we are. Let's plug everything in. B and N, again, are the base plate dimensions that we were given. Make sure that you take your yield strength of your steel for your base plate, not for the column. So that's 36 KSI. I have KSI, so that's kips, inches squared, and I have kips on top. Just make sure that you keep the two units consistent within the square root. And that will spit out, if I get my head out of the way, 0.487 inches. We'll round that up to a more realistic base plate thickness that you can get from a shop to 1/2 inch. And there you have it. So your minimum thickness of your base plate needs to be 1/2 inch. for LRFD. Kind of funny thing with this one, if you go back and you try ASD, you might get a slightly different thickness, and since we round to those nearest, I guess to nearest 1/8 inch, you may be able to prove that you can use a slightly thinner or have to use a slightly thicker base plate, depending on the analysis that you ran. But hey, stick around a little bit longer, check out some of these other videos if you want to learn more about steel construction or just about structural engineering in general. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things to help the channel grow so we can do even more practice problems together. All right, gang, see you in the next one. Later.